In this class, we are going to discuss the technical definition of DevOps. Now, what happens is when a developer submits the code that he has written for implementing some feature or some of the application bug fixes, he is submitting this code into a source code management system. And once it comes into the source code management system, from there on, this code is handed over to the operations team. This is one such process where developers and operations people have to work together. Normally, when a developer is writing a code in Java, he doesn't need to bother about any of the operational aspects, like how do you launch a server or how do you create a storage volume. Similarly, when an operations person is creating a storage volume, he doesn't need to know about Java. But this is one process where the developer hands over the code that he has written to the operations people to launch this code on top of a server and test it out and then finally publish it into the production server environment. Now, the processes that are taken up by the operations team after this to release this application code after a lot of testing and everything into the production is what is the target area of DevOps. DevOps tries to reduce the time taken into a developer submitting the code till it reaches the point of launching on the production server. Whatever is the time taken in between, that is what DevOps tries to optimize through use of various kinds of automation. Now, what you have to realize is this requires a lot of different types of automation. First of all, the server that is created in order to host the application needs to come up as a VM or a virtual machine or a container machine with an operating system on it. Then on top of the operating system, the hardening policy or any other operating system related configuration has to be implemented. And on top of that configuration, a middleware layer has to be implemented which will host the application. Like, let's say if it's a Java application, it will run on top of something like a Tomcat. Now, on top of that, the application also may require a database kind of a solution. So database has to be implemented. Once all these things are implemented, then only you can deploy an application. And after deploying an application, you need to do testing because you won't do it directly on the production server. Rather, you would do it first in a development environment, do a bit of testing, then you will further do it on a testing environment where you might do some other kind of testing like a stress testing and see whether all the features are working or not. There will be a quality assurance level testing, that whether the application is meeting all the quality requirements or not. And then finally there's staging testing. Staging testing means a like-to-like environment of the production server will be built which will behave as an environment almost similar to the production environment, and therefore application would be tested on it to see for the final time before launching onto the production whether anything is going wrong or not. Now, for all these environments, you have to do the OS provisioning, policy provisioning, middleware provisioning, database provisioning, application deployment, application testing again and again and again and again. Now, typically this was done manually by involving people, and it used to take a lot of time. For any standard organization, even after the code has been submitted finally by the developer which has no bugs and anything, the whole process of just redeploying these environments again and again and doing all the kind of testing, all the reviews and everything may take around 3 to 4 weeks of time, which in today's competitive landscape is completely unacceptable, because if you delay releasing a feature in your application for so much of time, then your competitor may as well release it earlier than you, thereby putting you on a business disadvantage position. So in today's day and age, people do not want to spend so much of time when the code is already ready. So how do you reduce that all time? How do you automate everything that is involved is what the DevOps target is, and that's what DevOps is all about.